Hello, folks. I've been off for quite some time. Today I want to address the simple wisdom of Havamal and the fact that actually what is important to understand the simple wisdom of Havamal. Okay, we go to other cultures for a lot of wisdom. Bhagavad Gita, the Hindus, in Taoism, Lao Tse, they all have advices. They all have all kinds of things basically that are very valuable. But the Havamal is a bit overlooked. The Havamal is not a bit overlooked, but in a big way. Actually, the advices of Havamal, the first part of the Havamal, probably 75% of it addresses exoteric advices for life, for daily life, daily activities, daily practices. Only the last part can be said it brushes a bit the surface of esoteric practices. But this is how it is. So let us start with the simple wisdom, because many people are hungry for esoteric knowledge, but they don't have the simplest clue. They don't have an inch of wisdom in their heart, but they all are hungry for power, for esoteric knowledge. They all are hungry of controlling their fate without having real life experience and real life knowledge, real life success and failure. Okay. So let us go over the first stanza of Havamal today. My pronunciation in Old Norse is not great, so bear with me. Gatir alar, odir gangi from, skodask skili, skignask skili, dviat ovist at vita, var ovinir, sitia fleti firir. Sitia a fleti firir. And he says here, all doorways before going forward should be looked to. For difficult it is to know where foes may sit within a dwelling. Listen up. So, when you enter a path, before going forward, says Odin, you should look very good at that path. Before entering the path of runes, before entering the path of yoga, before entering any path, look at all angles. Look at a situation from all angles. Look at the dot from the perspective of the circle. This is what Odin teaches us here. Look at the dot from the perspective of the circle. For difficult it is to know where foes may sit within a dwelling. So, yeah, often we are led astray by our own impulses and blinded by our own thirst for experience, knowledge, and power and happiness. The way in which we crave happiness is often the way towards unhappiness. Let that sink in. So the simple wisdom of Havamal must be integrated, because you cannot think like some kind of a medieval monk, or you cannot think like some kind of Asiatic Taoist in a monastery. You cannot think as an atheist or person who doesn't value spirituality in their real life through their real daily actions, and still you want to learn the path of the runes. You cannot cheat Odin. You can cheat yourself, but you cannot cheat Odin. Odin here being, from the esoteric perspective, your own spirit. You cannot cheat your consciousness. Odin is the consciousness, actually. So before entering a path, look. Before I start a path with someone, I'm looking at all the angles and see if foes sit within that dwelling. Every spiritual path today has foes sitting within a dwelling. So we must be prudent. What is the first ever teaching of Odin? In his own words, which are the words of the Skald, which are the words of the Bard, who is inspired by Odin to write this. Okay, so probably these words are the words of a very highly skilled Skald. The poetry, the metric, all these are written with much poetic skill. The alliterations, the meters, all are written with poetic skill. Why would someone go to the extent of this effort to impart this simple wisdom? So prudence is the first ever teaching of Nordic path. Prudence. Foes that sit within a dwelling. Watch every situation from all the angles. Watch every contact from all the angles. This doesn't mean you need to be tense in your real life. But when it comes to an important decision, when it comes to an important path for you, for your entire life, if I'm about to teach someone, I'm prudent. I advise prudence with people too. I advise prudence all around. Okay, so prudence is the first teaching of the Havamal. Let's go at the second. Gefender heilir, gestur in komen, var skal sitjas sia, mjölk bröder, sa a brodnum skal, syns och fresta framma. Gefender heilir, gestur in komen, var skal sitjas sia, mjölk bröder, sa a brodnum skal, syns och fresta framma. The second teaching, givers, hail, the ones who give, the ones who receive people, the host. A guest is coming. So you see, it goes from the perspective of you as the guest of a situation to the perspective of the people who receive the guest. A guest is coming. Where shall he sit? Offer a place, offer space for the people coming towards you. In much haste is he. So he has not really listened to the first advice of prudence. In much haste is he, who on the ways has to try his luck. So this is the generosity. This is the giver. So to the comer, it is advised prudence. To the receiver, to the giver, to the host, it is advised generosity, the givers. So prudence and generosity. Prudence, generosity. Offer space for people that come towards you. Space, not necessarily physical space. Okay? And it comes both ways. You don't need to offer space if the person is not a good person. So offer space with wisdom. Because the people who are coming towards you try their luck. They try their luck. We try our luck every day at everything. The trial of luck is one of the most important perceptions, one of the most important ideas of Havamal. We will come back to that later. Luck is a huge, important, and very sacred concept, actually, in Havamal. So prudence and then generosity. Have I seen prudent and generous people in my path with the runes? Very rarely. Very rarely. Very rarely. And in all spiritual paths I have encountered in this lifetime, sometimes even generosity is cunning. You know what I mean? There isn't a fair exchange. Even something received for free that can be a trap to buy your soul, you know? So prudence, prudence, and again prudence, and true generosity when it comes to real heart to heart connection. Let's go with the third advice. Eld, elds toirf, thames in komin, ok ekni kalin. Matar ok voda, mani torf. Teim hefer fial farit. Fire is needful to him who is coming, who has come in, and whose knees are frozen. Food and raiment a man requires, whoe'er the fell has traveled. All right. So be generous, and this is the specific the specific generosity here actually. So warmth, food, and clothes, because the travelers of those days were frozen in their knees pretty often. Okay, so the third stanza is an extension of the same advice. The generosity must be extended. You must treat your guest well, because you never know who that guest is. Possibly a god in disguise. The people of those old days often thought that gods can come in disguise and visit normal folk. Let's go to the fourth. Vatnes toerf, teim til verdar kemmer. Teru ok tiodladar goeds of Edis. Esser getameti odds ok endrutowigu. Water to him is needful who for reflection comes. So first fire is needful, then water is needful. Interesting, fire and water are needful for the comer, for the one who comes in the dwelling. Fire and water. A towel and hospitable invitation. Good reception, if he can get it, discourse and answer. So you see, it's not a normal visit. It's a answer. It's a question and answer type of visit. Good reception. Give him fire. Give him water. Give him clothes. Give him food. Discourse and answer. We know that the old Nordic people valued riddles a lot. Their entire philosophy, their entire spiritual path, it's a huge riddle. So then we understand now. It's about the riddles too here, discourse and answer. Not directly, but definitely. So, vits toerf teim vidaratar, delt heimavat, at oga bragdi verder, sai ekikan, ok med snotrum sitter. Ok med snotrum sitter. Wit is needful to him who travels far, at home all is easy. Definitely, definitely. Because wit is needful to him who travels far. You can travel far with your mind, you can travel far with your soul. Wit is necessary in all travels, and wit definitely involves prudence. A laughing stock is he who nothing knows, and with the instructed seats. So even if you sit with highly instructed persons, so the receiver, the host here, it's an instructed host. Even if you sit with an instructed person, I have seen it over and over again in this lifetime. I have imparted knowledge, and I have seen people that have benefited from very high knowledge for dozens of years. I'm not exaggerating, and they still remained stupid at heart, or evil, or brute at heart. an unforged heart, an unforged character. So, yes, you can sit next to Odin himself, and because of your unforged character, you will not gain anything from that encounter. You will think you will get something, but then you will return to your normal, old, unworked with character. I have seen this often, and this stanza, the fifth stanza, resonates with me very much. So fire, water, give to the. It's interesting. It's interesting. I will not go to the extent to say this is something esoteric. No, but plain, simple human wisdom of those ages that still applies today. Probably more than then. People with the technology they have today are more cunning 1,000 times than they were back then. So being prudent about the foes within a dwelling, even metaphorically speaking, is the correct path to go forward. And now we will stop in this video, in this live, at the sixth stanza. At hygiandisini scilit mater resin vera, heldur getin at gedi, to horskur ok togul, hemer heimis gardatil, sjaldan verdrer viti vorum, vi at obrid gudravin, fer madur aldregi, et en manvit mirkit. Of his understanding, no one should be proud. So, this is very interesting. First, it says, if you don't have any wits, don't even visit an instructed man. But if you have wits, don't be proud of them. So, here it teaches humbleness. The sixth stanza teaches humbleness. Of his understanding, no one should be proud, but rather in conduct cautious. So, it advises prudence with yourself. Prudence in exterior, prudence in interior. When the prudent and taciturn come to a dwelling, harm seldom befalls the cautious. For a firmer friend no man ever gets than great sagacity, than great wisdom. So definitely Odin um, values silence as the greatest wisdom. And let's cope this with the runes, right? Let's harmonize this idea with the runes. Aren't they whispers? And whispers often do not break the silence. So let's meditate upon this a bit. Anyway, let's dive into the this wisdom again a bit. Very nice, very nice. This simple wisdom, I have seen high initiates in this lifetime pretty often from all over the place that have the ego, the unforged ego of so many people who have not even visited any spiritual path, and they behave definitely like egotic or narcissistic children, you know. So it's very important to have character. All right. So you see, before Odin teaches the runes, it gives a huge load of advices about prudence and character. That must not go overlooked. I'm pretty sure that before any teaching is given, a teacher must pass the student through inquiries, through tests of prudence and character. Otherwise, you're in for a carousel of ridiculous attempts at wisdom. Okay, so let this advice sink in. We will jump into the fray again with Odin and the Havamal, and this simple wisdom that is highly needed today. Okay, because today everyone thinks they are smart, you know. um, Humbleness is the quality that lacks the most, and the thirst for power and knowledge is high, but the wisdom is ever at a very low. So let us follow the words of Odin a bit, which are the words of all the wise men in all ages, eras, and traditions. All right. Anyway, enjoy your day.